There are symptoms in the body that do not announce awakening. They confirm that it has already happened. The body reacts when consciousness has already changed, not before. And that's exactly why many people feel these changes without understanding what is happening. Most people think that spiritual awakening ends with that moment of clarity, with deep insight, with the sense of expanding consciousness. But the truth that no one tells you is this: the final awakening is not the end. It is the beginning of a silent transformation that takes place in the physical body. And the deepest signs of this change do not appear during the spiritual quest, but afterward. Yes, later. When you are no longer looking, when you have relaxed into the new frequency, it is that the body begins to manifest specific, unmistakable symptoms that prove that something real has changed in you. These are not symptoms of disease, common tiredness, or dysregulation whatsoever. They are bodily marks of spiritual ascension, and most people have no idea they are going through them. They think it's a phase, that it's stress, that it will pass. But these symptoms in the body have a pattern, an internal logic that only makes sense when you understand what really happens after the final awakening. And if you recognize at least two of them in you, it's because the shift in consciousness has already happened. Your body is only integrating what your soul already knows. Over the next few minutes, you'll discover the 5 most common and most ignored physical symptoms that arise exclusively after spiritual awakening. We're not talking about vague sensations or subjective interpretations. We're talking about concrete manifestations which alter your sleep, your energy, your relationship with environments and people, and even the way your body carries tension. If you are going through this and do not understand what is happening, this content will bring clarity. And if you haven't felt any of this yet, you'll know exactly what to look out for when the higher consciousness begins to anchor into the physical. So pay attention. As you watch, count how many of these symptoms you've experienced. And if there are 2 or more, leave the number in the comments. Just the number. This will show me how many people here have gone through the final awakening without even knowing that this is what happened. There is a type of fatigue that cannot be explained by a busy schedule or overtime at work. It is as if the body asks for a break that goes beyond the ordinary physical rest. Many people who go through spiritual awakening report this strange feeling. They sleep well, they are not sick, but they feel a deep need for recollection. It's different from that exhaustion that comes from stress. This tiredness seems to come from within, as if something is being reorganized into layers that we didn't even know existed. And the most curious thing is that there is no apparent logical explanation. Think of a house that is being renovated from the inside while the facade remains intact. This is exactly what happens during spiritual ascension, a silent inner reconstruction. Symptoms of awakening include this depletion because the body is integrating a new energetic frequency, something that demands resources that we do not always consciously perceive. It's no use drinking more coffee or trying to force yourself to be productive. What the body asks for at this moment is surrender. It's a fatigue that doesn't hurt, but that insists on making you stop and just be. The interesting thing is that this symptom in the body usually appears just after the final awakening, not during the initial search process. Many people expect to feel renewed energy, but what comes first is a kind of recalibration. Imagine a computer making an important system update. It needs to reboot, process, integrate. With higher consciousness, something similar happens. You are not regressing. You are adjusting to a new way of operating in the world. And this, of course, tires you in a way that vitamins or the gym won't solve. The person who goes through this often wonders, why do I sleep but still need constant breaks? The answer lies in the shift in consciousness that is happening behind the scenes. The body is not weak, it is wise. He knows he needs time to anchor this new version of you, and he will ask for that time in every way possible. And when you finally accept this different rhythm without guilt or resistance, something very particular starts to happen to your sleep pattern. After the final awakening takes place, sleep becomes completely new territory. It's not insomnia in the classic sense, nor is it oversleeping. It's a temporary dysregulation that doesn't follow any medical manual. You may always wake up at 3 in the morning without an alarm, or find that 5 hours of sleep is enough when you used to need 8. There are those who go through phases of deep and silent sleep, where dreams disappear completely, as if the mind were under maintenance. And most intriguingly, you feel good, despite all this mess on your biological clock. This is one of the most common and at the same time most disconcerting signs of spiritual awakening. The body is going through an internal synchronization with something bigger, and sleep is just the reflection of that. Think about how a musician tunes an instrument before playing. There are moments of disharmony until everything goes into the right key. During spiritual ascension, the organism needs to recalibrate its natural cycles to align with the new frequency of its consciousness. Therefore, there is no point in trying to force sleep with teas or melatonin. What is happening is much deeper than biochemistry. Many people report that during these periods, sleep becomes more conscious. It's as if, even though you're sleeping, there's a part of you awake, present, watching. Some wake up with deep insights, or with the feeling that they have been working through the night in other dimensions. It is not madness. It is a symptom in the body of a real change of consciousness. Sleep is no longer just physical recovery, and also becomes a portal of spiritual integration. And when you stop fighting it and simply watch the process, something curious starts to happen. This phase can last weeks or months, but eventually sleep stabilizes, only in a different pattern than before. You may find that you need fewer hours, or that your body has its own schedules that don't match the social pattern, and that's okay. Spiritual awakening did not come to fit you into the norms. It came to show you your true rhythm. And as sleep reorganizes itself, the body begins to develop another kind of perception, one that works even when you're awake. There is a moment in spiritual awakening when the body starts to function as a supersensitive radar. You walk into a room, and even before you can mentally process what is happening, you already feel a tightness in your chest or a weight in your stomach. It's not paranoia, it's not freshness. It's the organism picking up frequencies that previously went unnoticed. Certain places literally get tired, as if they drain your energy in minutes. Certain people, even though they are polite and friendly, leave you exhausted after half an hour of conversation. And the most impressive thing, you feel it physically. It's not just a mental impression. This is one of the most striking and, at the same time, most challenging symptoms of waking up to deal with on a daily basis. Higher consciousness brings with it a greater coherence between body and perception. They cease to function separately and start operating as an integrated unit. Imagine an animal in the wild that senses danger before it sees it. It is a refined instinct for survival. With spiritual ascension, you recover this ancestral wisdom of the body, but applied to human relationships and the spaces you frequent. Your body warns you before your mind rationalizes. For example, you may be in a seemingly quiet meeting and feel an inexplicable strain on your jaw or shoulders. Hours later, he discovers that there were unspoken conflicts circulating in that environment. Or you can visit someone's house and feel your stomach turn for no apparent reason, only to find out that that family is going through intense crises. It is not mediumship in the classical sense. It is amplified physical sensitivity. The signs of spiritual awakening include this ability to read energies through bodily sensations, and this completely changes the way you choose where to be and who to live with. The body is not betraying you with these reactions. It is protecting you. It is showing you what social education has taught you to ignore. And when you learn to trust these physical messages, you realize that living becomes simpler and more honest. You stop forcing yourself to be in places that drain you just because you should. He begins to respect his limits without guilt, and while this sensitivity sets in, something very interesting happens in parallel with the voltages you used to carry. There is something almost magical that happens quietly after the final awakening. Old tensions simply disappear. It's not that you've done body therapy, weekly massage, or started yoga. They just disappear. One day you notice that your shoulders are no longer glued to your neck, that your jaw is loose, that you breathe deeper without having to remember it. These are those chronic contractions that became part of your posture for years, and now they don't come back. It is as if the body has received an internal signal that it can finally relax. This is one of the most subtle symptoms in the body, but also the most revealing of the shift in consciousness that has taken place. Chronic muscle tension isn't just physical. It's the memory of fear, of hypervigilance, of the feeling of always needing to be on the alert. For years, many people have lived in a state of constant internal threat, even when there is no real danger. The body prepares to fight or flee, but it never really rests. With spiritual ascension, an inner security is born that does not depend on external circumstances. And when this happens, the body finally understands that it can release the armor. Think of a person who has lived his entire life with his fists clenched, ready to defend himself. She doesn't even realize that she does it anymore. It has become automatic. But after spiritual awakening, something changes at the root. Breathing slows down naturally. The face softens. The whole body takes a more open posture. It's not a technique. It's a consequence. It is the physical reflection of a deep trust that has settled inside. Many people only notice this transformation when someone comments, "You are different, lighter," or when he looks at old photos and sees the rigidity he carried in his own body. The interesting thing is that you don't remember exactly when it stopped. It was gradual, organic, without conscious effort. The signs of spiritual awakening include this spontaneous reorganization of the nervous system. It moves out of survival mode and into presence mode. And when the body finally relaxes in this way, when it stops fighting against life, it makes room for an even deeper sensation to begin to manifest. Here, the change is no longer explainable. It is difficult to describe with words. It's a feeling of being completely present in one's own body, but without weight, without haste, without that constant internal agitation. You are simply here, whole, available for the present moment. It's not euphoria. It's not sadness. It's a living, conscious neutrality, as if you finally come home within yourself. The body is not heavy, as when there is anxiety, nor accelerated as when there is forced excitement. He is simply present in a calm that needs no reason to exist. Many people spend their entire lives seeking this sensation through techniques, meditations, substances, or external experiences. But after the final awakening, it settles naturally and permanently. It's one of the most powerful signs of spiritual awakening, because it's not something you make happen. It's something that happens through you. The heightened consciousness brings this anchoring in the now as a silent gift. You may be washing dishes, walking down the street, or simply sitting, and there's a physical fullness that accompanies these ordinary moments. The body ceases to be a vehicle that carries you through life and becomes the very portal of experience. Think about how most people live dissociated. The mind in the past or in the future, the body just performing automatic movements. But when the change of consciousness is complete, there is a reunification. You feel your hands touching things, you feel the air entering your lungs, you feel your feet on the ground, not as a mindfulness exercise, but as a natural state. It's the difference between trying to be present and simply being presence. There is no longer that feeling of running after something all the time, because you realize that everything you were looking for is already here, now, in this breathing body. This symptom in the body is the ultimate confirmation that spiritual awakening was not just a passing experience or a beautiful mental concept. It was a real transformation, rooted in the very way you inhabit existence. And the beautiful thing is that this quiet presence does not depend on perfect circumstances. It is always available because it is the very nature of the consciousness that you have become. The body does not lie. He only reacts when the change has already happened. The body does not react to what you seek, it reacts to what you have already become. So now you answer me one thing. How many of these symptoms did you recognize in yourself? Because whether it was 2, 3, or all 5, that's no coincidence. It's confirmation. If at least 2 have already appeared, comment, "I felt it." Your body is showing you in a concrete and physical way that you are no longer who you were. The shift in consciousness has already taken place, and now the challenge is not to seek spiritual awakening, but to honor what it has brought. And honoring means respecting different tiredness, accepting unregulated sleep, trusting in amplified sensitivity, celebrating the tensions that have disappeared, and inhabiting that calm presence that has finally settled in. The question that remains is, will you continue to fight against these signs of spiritual awakening, trying to return to normal, or will you allow the body to guide you in this new way of existing? Because the truth is that you can no longer pretend that nothing has changed. You can't force the old rhythm, go to the same places, ignore what the body is screaming. The final awakening didn't come to adapt you to the world. It came to show you that you are the world, and that this body you inhabit is sacred, conscious, and much wiser than you think. So here's my invitation. Start paying attention. Observe your body as you have never observed before. Listen to what he is saying through tiredness, sleep, sensitivity, relaxation, presence. Because these symptoms in the body are not obstacles. They are messages. They are daily reminders that spiritual ascension is not theory. It is living experience happening now, in every cell, in every breath, in every moment of heightened consciousness that you allow to exist. And if this content made sense to you, if it touched something real that you are experiencing, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Because the journey of spiritual awakening doesn't end here. It's just beginning to unfold in layers that most people will never understand. And you deserve to have access to this deep knowledge, which goes beyond the obvious, that honors your transformation and helps you navigate it wisely. I'll see you in the next video.